So what's that like? I mean, I've actually moved for somebody before in my life and it
Oh,
ended up not working because it was terrible. It was isolating. I couldn't have the
yeah.
job that I was used to having. I didn't have, for me, without that job, I almost felt like my credibility was gone and I just became someone's
Hmm.
girlfriend. And that to me was
Yes.
terrible
Yeah.
because they spoke a different language than me as well. And everybody would speak that language and not, even though they did speak English a little bit, they would choose not to. And then I started, it
Yes.
really affected my self-esteem. And I
Yeah.
had to eventually, I mean, it made our relationship blow up where we came from a relationship that we never fought at the beginning. And that I think ultimately destroyed us. How did it work? How has it worked for you?
It's very similar actually. There are certain situations where they could choose to speak English,
Mhm.
especially with some of the Turkish crew for the show, and Sarper chooses to speak Turkish with them. And, I've repeatedly said, when I'm around, these people speak English, like please
Yeah.
speak English to them so that I can know what's being talked about. Even if you're not talking to me, like I want to feel like I'm part of the room,
Sure.
even because it can feel like you're not even there. It's like a weird situation when everyone's speaking a different language and they're not acknowledging your presence or making you a part of the conversation. You almost feel like you're not there,
Right.
and that's not a good feeling. So, yeah, there's a lot of that where I just constantly am reminding him, please include me in this. When you can speak English, please do. And then the translation part is he doesn't like to translate. So
Oh
it's like
gosh.
when we're with his family, I'll check in every, 5 minutes or so. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys
Right.
talking about now? And he's like, don't worry, don't worry. And it's like,
But I hate that for you because that makes
yeah,
you seem like, people just think you're dumb because you have nothing to say, because you can't
yeah,
be involved in the conversation. And that's like a terrible place to be in, you
I
know?
agree. I felt like it was harder for his family to really get to know me because of that communication. I can't,
Right. And
I
then they
can't
only
speak
judge
on
you,
things.
they judge you on like your body language too, or like the way your
Yeah,
face looks if you're interacting with him, or because they can't really see your personality.
exactly. It's
Yeah,
very difficult to get
that's
to know
hard.
someone that way. Yeah.
That's hard. Okay, so there was some intense moments between you and Sarper on the show. How did you deal with that conflict? And like, did you feel like you had to stay in conversations or situations longer because this has become, I mean, let's be honest, working on a show like this, you get a paycheck for it. So it's kind of like when you are without a paycheck being somewhere, you kind of stay in things longer than you may have, or was this just exactly how your relationship would have panned out and you were just getting it on camera?
The monetary part of it doesn't change if you're, breaking up or in a fight. That's just becomes your story and filming continues.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and we don't get paid like per day or scene or anything like that. So, yeah,
Oh,
it's a
so
little
that's
bit
good. So
different.
they want it to transpire the way it's going to happen.
Yeah, they
Okay.
don't direct things in a way that they don't have anything planned for you. They see what really unfolds. And yeah, in those situations, I think that I really stayed aware of the fact that this was Sarper's first time dealing with a lot of those issues because it was his first real relationship and he's like mid 40s, and so he's got this adult mind, but also this very childlike approach to the situation because it's his first time. He has no experience. So
Mhm.
I had to keep that in mind. It kept me from getting really like heated in those situations and overly expressive. I was just trying to remain cool. Also, Sarper he has a hot temper. So I was always trying not to trigger that and
Mhm.
just remain calm. And I've learned to I stay in my power by doing so also. So a lot of the time you'll see that I'm not highly reactive, and it's just because I'm processing things and I'm also, very aware of the fact that he doesn't fully understand what's going on in the moment or know how to deal with it. So it's been a learning curve for him and me too sometimes.
Right, right. Sarper's strong opinions, such as your cosmetics procedures, have raised eyebrows among some viewers. How do you
Mhm.
maintain wanting to do something that goes within his guidelines and then stay true to what you want to be doing?
Well, I mean, I just do what I want to do regardless of anyone else's opinion, especially when it comes to my physical appearance. So I let Sarper know that my nose was something that I had an insecurity about and I wanted to address. I tried twice in the States and it wasn't a successful outcome. And Turkey is known for their really great rhinoplasty
Mm,
surgeons. And I'd been following one for years, like before I ever even met Sarper. And I really wanted to go forward with the procedure, especially since I was already there. And he was against it. Like he really didn't want anything about me to change. And he had a fear that it would like be worse somehow if I did
Yeah.
this. But then when he got on board with it, he was like, well, if you're going to do this, I want to help because clearly you didn't have success with it when you didn't have my help the other two times. So that's
Right.
when he, got out his drawing pen and started marking up my nose and like feeling like he was directing the procedure.
Got it.
So it made him feel more comfortable.
Right. Okay. A couple fans are curious. I asked questions of people beforehand. The biggest question was, what's something about your relationship that the show did not capture that people would be surprised about?
I think people would be surprised at how like chill we really are. Like we go about our daily routines together, just like mirror images of each other. We're always wanting to do the same thing at the same time. We're very peaceful. We actually really thrive in a peaceful environment. We don't have a lot of conflict. And we actually get along really great. So the
Right.
moments that you see on TV are those more heated moments, but they're few and far between,
Mhm.
but they're just tiny moments in the grand scheme of like our life. So yeah, I wish that people could keep in mind that that's not the entirety of our relationship. We actually have the best time together and we're very well matched, I think.
So for people that do watch, would you say that your relationship is real? You guys are still in love. You guys are still working on staying together and making this work.
I mean, I can't comment on where our relationship status currently is at,
Mhm.
but I would encourage you to keep watching the rest of the season.
Okay. Looking ahead, can you give us a couple future plans with or without Sarper, personally, professionally? I know you can't talk about whether or not you're still in Turkey, not in Turkey, but anything you can talk about that people can look forward to from you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still seeing my daughter just as much. That's one thing that really hurt me from the show is a lot of people thought that I had just, picked up and moved away and put my daughter in boarding school to be with Sarper. She'd already been in school for 2 years before I met him. She'd already been in boarding school. So even while I was in Turkey, I was still seeing her just as much as I do when I'm in LA. So that has not changed at all. I've maintained my business in Los Angeles. I'm going through some big changes with that. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what I can tell you that isn't a spoiler.
Well, do you
I
want to have
mean,
kids? Do you want to have more kids? You have more.
no, 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 no. I've definitely stayed firm on, yeah, my stand of not wanting to have more children.
Got
And
it.
actually, with Sarper living with Adonis, it was really good because he realized what kind of responsibility he has to have as a dog dad. He has to take him out 3 times a day. He has to make sure he has food and water, and that was a lot for Sarper. He was like this is really demanding of me, and I'm like, you have no idea how much more intense that is when you have a child. This is a
Right.
dog, like they
Right.
can't even complain to you.
Right.
So
Exactly.
and it kind of has changed his viewpoint on whether or not he wants to have a child, which is such a relief to me. So I'm glad Adonis helped with that.
Right.
Yeah.
If people are in LA, are you still doing your esthetician stuff? Can they find you? Can they work with you?
Yes.
How would they reach you?
Absolutely. I just made a big move. So my facial studio just moved into a gorgeous new salon suite that was just built out, and they can reach me through Instagram, just DM me on my professional account, and I am taking clients. Yes.
Amazing. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So let people know if they're listening or watching where they can find you on Instagram.
You can find me at Aesthetics by Shekinah. It's with an A. So Aesthetics by Shekinah, that's my professional account. My personal account, where you'll see pictures of Sarper and little glimpses into our relationship, is at Shekinah.Garner. And yeah, I am pretty interactive with my following. I feel like I respond to most comments and DMs if they're nice. And and yeah, I take new clients. I love to meet fans. I've had people fly in from different states for facials, and I love that. I think it's so fun to meet people from all over who watch the show.
Absolutely. Okay, 90 Day Fiance, the other way is still on for another
Yes.
couple episodes, right? When
Yes.
is the finale? Do you know?
I don't know the date of it. I think that we have like 4 more episodes, 4 or 5
Right.
more
I think somewhere
episodes.
into November. Amazing. So if you guys have not, you're listening and you have not caught up on everything, please do. You have some time.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you being here and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.